expensive. It might cost $200,000 for 4 years. You can look on MicroAcquire and see that you could buy a business for $200,000 that makes like $80,000 or $90,000. And when you just do the math, you're like, well, this is way better investment because I won't even make that much money when I graduate. I'd rather spend 4 years growing this company and actually end up with an asset that I can sell. So I love MicroAcquire. Those are 3 massive, massive points that I kept like lecturing students on that does not resonate because they could not see it in very concrete, real world terms. And that is way underestimated what the impact of that is going to be on innovation. It could be bigger than like, it actually could be the biggest innovation.
Yeah.
Which is backwards. It seems weird.
Just today afternoon, I just sent Decoded a tweet which said, I think it was by Noah Bragg, and Noah said, I grew a company to $500 in MRR and sold it for $30K.
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, the leverage here is so cool.
It is massive. Like it's screaming at you. Build something, buy something, do something, right? I see all these like open source questions. No, don't worry about open source until you're rich. Then you can worry about open source. You guys need money, right? Go get money, like go create value. Software can be monetized. So it doesn't have to be open source. This isn't a nonprofit, you know?
Candid insights.
Go make money. Bad Unicorn VC, what do I think about them? They have lots of ideas. I mean, I'm friends with them. They have lots of ideas. They launch a lot, but I think if they pivoted to launching actual products, I think they could find like a huge winner in that because they're super creative.
What are the most who are the 3 or maybe 5 people who do you think are the coolest on Twitter?
Are the what on Twitter?
The coolest on Twitter.
Oh, nobody. Nobody's cool on Twitter. There's nobody. Let me just pull up in terms of like value created, I have, I think Sharif Shamim is probably the only one because he's pushing the boundaries of GPT-3. Yeah, we're all nerds. Exactly. Yeah, D-Build, so when he launches that, it's going to be mind-blowing. And I invested in his company because I think that even apps are going to be something you can describe. The computer knows what you're talking about. Anything else, guys?
I mean, I have a lot of questions inside, but
what do I think of Neuralink? I don't know. Look, I've thought it's like, you guys ever watch the Matrix movies? Yeah. You know, in the first one, when she's like gonna get, like, she has to escape and there's like a helicopter and she's got to fly it, and they're like, hey, put the program in so that she can learn how to fly it. Remember that? And then like it implants like how to fly a helicopter into her brain, right? Well, what's the problem there?
Anyone? Someone who has seen Matrix?
The problem is it's easier to just figure out how to get the helicopter to fly itself. So you don't actually have to modify the biology of people. You can actually just get things to do the things that we want them to do. So it works in 2 different ways. One is like, how do I accelerate the human mind and brain and connect all that? And the other one is just, how do I make things more productive or more like easier to use in the real world? Right. So Neuralink, yeah, if it launches, sure, you've got an instant connection to the internet. That's going to be different, very different. The other thing I have to remind everybody is we're all monkeys. We're all like animals. And imagine there's like a monkey at a zoo and he's reading a newspaper and typing on a computer. You're gonna be like, oh, that's crazy. Well, that's literally us. That's really us. And so intelligence is passing through humans in the current form of biology, and we've now basically consolidated this intelligence to a group level intelligence, and that's the internet. So the next level is, well, what tools can we use to augment our own intelligence? And we're building tools all the time. Like my cell phone is one of the biggest augmentations of intelligence ever. And it doesn't really stop there.
Right. I think I heard you saying somewhere that the amount of data of copywriting from all the websites that you had was about 10 terabytes.
That's how much went into the GPT-3 training.
God.
It was 22 trillion words, which is a lot. And then they tuned it to 170 billion parameters, which is like a little switch. So like that's a big model. And these models, there's no limitation to the size of the model, and there's no limitation on how much data you can feed it and how good it can get, which is absolutely crazy.
God.
Yes, they 100x the size of GPT-2. Look, if you guys know what a regression is or a correlation, that's an AI model. So you're just building a predictor. And then you take the output, compare it to the prediction, use that to update your model, and then that's called like reinforcement learning. So it learns and it gets better over time. So it's not surprising that AI is going to be, those AI methods and tools are going to be useful. But at the end of the day, it's still, you got to have data. And data is usually trying to capture some real world insight.
Got it. I think just let us wind up with a few last questions. One thing here is like about 95% of audiences, Gen Z or maybe below 18, people who are willing to be entrepreneurs, and these guys are going to accelerate the future. So what is that one piece of advice, except build, that you would like to give those guys?
Do you guys have a community outside of Twitter? So like a Discord?
Yep.
How are you all tracking what projects you're building and what the launch date is?
Aryan, can you speak about this? Because Aryan is the admin of India Z.
Can you just repeat? Like, so you want to know how do we track the launches?
Yeah, I mean, you have to set deadlines and goals so that you can hit them, and the launch date for a project is the ultimate goal. It's the ultimate deadline. And since every project is really an experiment you're running, the goal is to do as many experiments as possible because the hit rate is very, very low. Does that make sense?
Right.
So I know a lot. So as a community, like if you were saying, okay, well, what can we do as a community to increase the speed? You can actually just set launch date goals.
Got it. Yeah, we've not done that with India C right now, but we'll do that. Personally, the way I do it is I do the same thing with Isha. I do 2-week sprints. Week 1 is building, and then week 2 is just outreach. And like even at the end of week 2, I will ship it no matter how shitty the product is, because I just want to get like feedback on it. So we probably productize it for the entire community so everybody can play like these games of shipping.
It's great. Yeah. Anything else? Y'all let me in that Discord group.
Sure, absolutely. Yep.
Okay.
I'll send you an invite.
Great.
Okay. So before we end this thing, I'll tell about my 3 key takeaways from this.
Okay.
First of all,
do a tweet thread on it if you want. I don't care.
Yeah, I'll sure. Number 1 is you completely changed my perspective on approaching problems, because I was the guy who was like take a problem and stuff. But then I realized how problematic that is, and how sometimes playing and technology might also be useful. Second one would definitely be doing short sprints and launches, because I have done it myself, building a product for 5 months straight and then realizing no one wants it.
Nobody wants it. I can almost guarantee that nobody wants it. I'll put money on it that nobody wants it.
And the third one is to keep iterating very, very, very fast, and then just kind of get the traction as soon as possible.
Yep. That's why if you're just thinking, hey, we got this project, I don't mind launching. I don't mind launching. Like if you launch something and you collect emails and then nobody uses it, you email everybody and say, hey, would love to hear like very brutally honest feedback. Like what was the problem with it? That's a way easier way to get the real feedback you want than beta testing. So like that's why we didn't have really beta testing when we launched, because I knew that you only needed to convert like 1% of trial users to paying customers. And then if you got a lot of beta feedback and it was like 99 people out of 100 are going to give you feedback despite not being a paying customer when you launch.
Yeah. Perfect.
So once you guys start launching things, that whole cycle speeds up. And then again, the key to a good launch is having a lot of people try something out. That's how you learn the most. And so the way to get the most trials on launch is to launch things a lot, because it steps up the number of people that are following you that care when you launch the next thing.
Got it. Awesome. Do we have any last questions? Book recommendations.
Book recommendations. I can't really recommend anything, because it just depends on what it is you're building or what you want to do. Have you guys read 0 to 1 by Peter Thiel? So that's a hard book. Like you read the book and then were you inspired to go build something? I was not inspired. Like I watch his videos and it makes me angry. I'm like, oh, well, we need to be more innovative. And then like, well, what do I do? And then I don't have an answer from the book. So it's basically just setting like this fire, this like desire to go build something and be innovative. That's what that book really did for me. But it didn't really, that's like one book. I wouldn't say I learned a whole lot from it, but it is still inspiring in a very important way. Any books you found helpful?
Personally, I think the Arvidskal, Zero to Soul, and Bootstrap Founder are good reads. Other than that, I don't really read books about startups, because like 2 years ago, I just went too deep into reading stuff, and then I realized nothing's good until you implement it. So if I have a problem about growth, I'll just pick that book. So nothing specific.
Yeah.
Awesome, Paul. It was really cool talking to you. To be honest, after this call ends, for 1 or maybe 1.5 hours, I'll think, was that call even real? Did I really get a chance to go on a call with Paul?
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. I'm just so happy. Thank you, dude.
Yeah, you bet. You bet. I'll see you all later, and give me an invite to that Discord.
Sure.
Yep.
I'm joining. Even though I'm not Gen Z. Hey, look, I'm not Gen Z, but my daughter is. She's like 6 years old.
We've got some 30-plus-year-old investors also who are just there to scout. So we don't restrict it to Gen Z.
Yeah. Tell them to build something. Tell them they can only be there if they build something. Try to get these 30-year-old investors to actually be creative. Because I was one of them, and I wish somebody had told me that.
New rule for India Z.
I'm 32.
Cool.
All right, guys.
Awesome. Bye bye.
Thanks for putting this on. See ya. Bye.
Bye.